some of the darker areas in where the mouth and the nose are going to go, and we're going to just keep building layer by layer, small detail by small detail. Now you can see there's that focus box showing up. Darn you. I couldn't fix it and I couldn't change it, so thanks for just bearing with me on that. One of the things I really love about this particular brush, it's a long round brush from Princeton, and it can get really fine point, really fine detail, or you can kind of turn it on its side and get a nice wide brush stroke, which you'll see me do on this raccoon. But I love the versatility of this brush and the control that it has. So putting in some of those warmer colors and kind of just starting to build those under layers, letting those show through for later, really wanting some of that to be warm. And then I'm lifting out some of the color there. There's a little bit of lightness around his nose, and so I wanted to be able to show that. Instead of using my hairdryer, I'm going to focus on a different area of the painting, which is a great way to let what you've been working on give it time to dry. And so I'm doing wet on wet for this background because it's very soft. There's not a lot of detail, and I want all the detail to really show in the raccoon and the trash can. So wet on wet and just kind of dropping in lots of various green colors, and then getting some Prussian blue and putting that in here as well to kind of indicate some of those darker areas and just give some contrast in value. So just building and building and building while it's still wet, because again, I want it to be really, really soft. Now that my raccoon is dry, we're gonna get some really dark darks and start laying in the finer details. So focusing on those ears and the stripes that you typically see in a raccoon, which they're so well known for. I'm starting to put those in and just giving the suggestion that there's fur there. I don't need to put every single hair detail in there, just the idea. And so kind of varying my brush texture and what I'm laying down into this painting. And then again, cleaning off my brush, drying it off so it's just damp, and kind of pulling some of those areas so they're softer and don't have such a harsh line. And we're going to put some darks under the mouth area and start to kind of really pull in the details in the separation of the mouth and under the chin, where the eyes are, and then starting to work on that nose area as well. So again, just trying to get some ideas of, you know, there's some hair, there's some shadow in here, and varying my brush strokes. So just looking at the nose, you want to focus on where the shadows are and where the lightest parts are, and that's what I tried to do here. And then I switched over to a smaller brush point to really get some fine lines in there. Got those nostrils in there, and then just kind of focusing on finishing up those details, softening it up with that clean brush, and we'll finish that nose up as we keep adding in these layers. But I'm gonna let that dry for now. Put in some suggestions of fur around that bottom jaw area, and just keep building these layers with this dark brown, dark gray that I put together. And then just getting darker and darker and darker. And the reason I'm doing this is because if I'm building in layers, then it's really easy to show variation in value. And so I put a layer in there, let it dry, come back and do another darker layer, let that dry, until I get to a point where I'm like, I really like how dark this is, and I like how the lights are showing through underneath, and I feel really good about it. So I'm gonna work on the eyes, and they're very dark, but I decided to use kind of a blue color so it just didn't all look black. So putting the blue in there and leaving the areas that I've kind of noted for the highlights, and then adding some of that blue into the nose as well, and just kind of building that up, and then going back to the top. So again, we're just doing lots and lots of layers here, lots of layers, and adding the darks over what we put in before. Just gonna start to define those little fingers, and then we're gonna move on to defining the actual trash can. So for this, you can see that the trash can underneath him is very dark, like way darker than anything on the raccoon potentially. So we want to have something that, you know, is potentially that red color, but a really dark version. So I used ultramarine blue, I used some alizarin crimson, and then I also put a little bit of burnt sienna in there. And then as I'm going around his ears and his fur, I tried some different techniques. So I used the end of my brush to kind of pull some of that paint into the ear. Didn't love that as much. So then I got a fan brush and I tried that, and I also didn't love that either. So I decided to get out a knife and kind of pull some of the paint and kind of create that texture and pulling the paint away from the paper. And you can do this with all sorts of things. A really dull pocket knife, which I got from an antique store, works pretty well. Or you can use just a credit card, which I find works really well. So I decided to try that on this other side and was totally happy with it. And I just use old credit cards, cut them in half, scrape off the numbers, so if I'm out and I lose it, it's not a big deal. But it's a really great way to inexpensively scrape off your paint. Okay, so now we're gonna focus on this trash can. I feel like the raccoon's in a really good place right now, and we're gonna let him dry. So just kind of going in with a base coat of red, and I'm gonna put that everywhere and just kind of build in my darks. So focusing on where I see those potential highlights, right? And where I see the darkest darks. So it gets really dark around that bottom edge. So I put red in there, and then I also put some of that ultramarine blue to make it darker. And then I can see it on that top rim of the trash can lid, it's really light, it's a highlight area. So I'm gonna leave that light and kind of blend these edges into it and kind of soften it up. And then I'm gonna do a similar thing with the base of the trash can. So I can see that the edge of where his little hands are is really light. It's not white, but it's very, very light. So I wanna just carefully make sure I leave that in there to communicate that highlight. But I also wanna make sure that it shows that there are some shadows underneath where his hands are, just to give it that purpose where it's holding onto the trash can. And then I get more of that dark color that I had mixed up for under the lid, and I'm starting to apply that underneath because there's definitely a shadow under there. And just kind of adding more of that and more of that till it gets to a place where I like it. At a certain point, you're gonna wanna let it dry, otherwise it's just gonna keep bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. So I did let it dry, and then I came back in with a much darker, harsher line there, and then started to put in some of these shadow details for the little imprints on the trash can. And I didn't make them exactly where they were. I just, again, wanted the idea that there's some indentation on this trash can. So starting off with some colors, and then I kind of pulled some of it out and softened it because I didn't love how harsh it was coming across. So just kind of reworking that till it got to a place where I was like, okay, that looks pretty good if you squint your eyes, and let's move on. So coming back in, because paint will dry lighter than when you put it on, making sure that that rim of the lid is really dark. And then for the final pieces of this raccoon, adding those little warm areas of fur that he has around his nose and his ears, where if you look real closely, you're able to see those, and he's not just this white and black trash panda. So for the final highlights, I use a jelly roller, and this is a number 8 white jelly roll pen, and I'm using this to put the final details of some fur, as well as his whiskers, some details in the eyes, and this is a really great way to put whites back into your painting that would just be almost impossible to paint on your own. So don't underestimate the power of a jelly roller. You can also use white pencil, but this is a great way to kind of wrap this up. Hope you love it. Thanks for hanging out with me while I painted this raccoon for my nephew. I hope that he loves it. Again, I use the DaVinci Eye app, so make sure you check out my other video about how I use that app and how to go through it. Game changer, I love it, I use it a lot. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. Any comments you leave, I will respond to them. I appreciate you for hanging out with me today and watching this entire video. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time that I make stuff.
They wonder how I do it like that. 7 fit flex on the jacks on that.